Hello and welcome to Laurice's Kitchen. Today I'm making miso soup and I'm making it in the slow cooker. Even though I've had mine for 23 years, I think this is its debut appearance on this show. Now we're going to be cooking this soup on low, but it still only cooks for between 4 to 6 hours, so it's not going to be suitable to put in the crock pot before you go to work and then enjoy when you get home. But it would be perfect for a hectic weekend day or even a lazy Sunday. First up, we need to clean, stem, and slice 12 ounces of shiitake mushrooms. So let's get to it. If you've never seen a shiitake mushroom, that's what this is. They don't have that traditional mushroom cap. They're pretty flat. Now these are pretty clean. If I come across any that have any peat or dirt on them, I'm just going to brush it off with a paper towel. Now we do have to get rid of the stems. They are very fibrous and you cannot use them for anything else. Now you could actually keep them and put them in broth, but they will have to be discarded. If you'd rather not do all this work, you can buy shiitakes already cut up, but they're about twice as expensive per pound. Okay, so that was a little over a pound of mushrooms with their stems, and that works out to just around 12 ounces, 13 ounces, or 396 grams. I've also got a 2-inch piece of ginger that I've peeled. Now we're going to cut this into 1/4-inch thick pieces, and I know that sounds pretty big, but we're actually not going to eat the ginger. We're going to cook it in the soup and then we're going to discard it, and I'll address the logistics of that later. This is 14 ounces of extra firm tofu. I'm going to slice this in half. Lay down 3 paper towels, and then we're going to put 3 paper towels on top of it, along with another cutting board with about 56 ounces of tomato products. We're going to let this press out for about 15 minutes. Now, there is super firm tofu, and it's probably the same as extra firm tofu that's been pressed. So if you can find that, you can go ahead and use that as well. Aside from the tofu, shiitake mushrooms, and ginger, I've also got 6 cloves of garlic that I've very finely minced. To get this soup started, we are going to need a ½ cup of white miso paste. Now, yes, mine did come in a bag. It is the consistency of peanut butter, so I don't know who thought this was a good idea. Like all good crockpot recipes, we are going to have to start at the stove. We're going to start with about 2 tablespoons of sesame oil in this very large pan. I'm going to just soften the ginger in there, and then that's coming out. This is going to go in a cheesecloth pouch so that we can more easily remove it from the soup. Okay, that was about 2 minutes. That's all I'm going to give these. Next in, we're going to put the mushrooms, and we just want to let them soften a little bit and get started cooking. We don't want to boil them in our soup liquid. Okay, and I'm going to add just a little bit more oil. This is pretty dry. And I'll be adding the garlic in about another minute. Okay, I've made a spot for the garlic. This we just want to soften as well. We don't want to brown it. Okay, we're done, and this was about 2 minutes total. Okay, now that these have been pressing for about 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to go ahead and dice these into about 1/2-inch size dice. Sorry, 1/2-inch size cubes. We need a ½ cup of miso. Now, normally for soft ingredients like this, I would go ahead and use one of these pushers to measure it out. However, we're also going to need 8 cups of water. So I'm just going to do this the easy way and measure my ½ cup of miso through liquid displacement. I'm going to whisk this ½ cup of miso in this 3 cups of water in the crock pot. Then we'll add the rest of the water, the mushrooms and garlic, the ginger in its pouch, along with the tofu. That's going to simmer in the crock pot on low for 4 to 6 hours. Okay, I'm also leaving this long so that I can hold it out here and find it easily. And I forgot to mention 2 ounces of light soy sauce. Okay, this goes on low for 4 to 6 hours. To finish off this soup, I have 8 ounces of baby spinach that I've cleaned, and then a couple of the stems that were really big I've pulled off. I've also got a bunch of radishes that I sliced in half and then sliced with my mandolin about 1 millimeter thick. Now I think you can buy them pre-sliced like this if you don't want to do that. I also have 2 packages of ramen noodle that I've pulled in half and then broken up. The noodles are just too long if you leave them whole. Before we can eat this soup, we just need to finish off a couple of things. We're going to add the ramen and let that soften. That'll probably take 2 to 3 minutes. Next in goes the radishes and the spinach. We just need to let that sit in there long enough for the spinach to wilt. Just be careful if steam burns. Okay, we'll get the ginger out. And the ramen in. Okay, and I'm probably only going to add about half of these radishes. Okay, this is ready to go. I'm just going to turn it down to keep warm. It's time to give our miso soup a taste. Now, I have a little bit of tamari on hand if I want to season this. Now, I've had it both with tempeh and with tofu. I happen to like the tempeh texture better. Everybody else likes the tofu texture better. See if I can get a little bit of everything in here. And I hope I don't burn my mouth. Wonderful. I've also got 6 cloves of garlic that I finely minced. And that was an onion.